Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today is an exciting one because I'm going to be installing this diesel heater, which I've been meaning to install for quite a while now. I had bought another one, but it was too tall. It was like one of those Vivor diesel heaters, the skinnier ones that are a bit taller. But I changed my mind on where I wanted to have it. So because of that, I had to return it and get a smaller one. So I have this one. The brand is Sunster, and it had some good reviews on Amazon, so I just went ahead and picked that one up. Um, it's a neat little thing, man. It has a little screen that you can mount anywhere and control the temperature and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of these heaters are the same pretty much, um, but I wanted to mount this directly beneath where I'm sitting underneath this bench. I think that will be a good spot for it, and it makes it a little easier for me to route the inlet and exhaust underneath the car. So let me show you what it comes with. So of course, the heater itself, it's got the diesel cap here. I believe this tank is 5 liters, so a little over a gallon, which is nice. And it's got this little remote control, and we have the wires for connecting it to the battery. We have the exhaust pipe, which I actually ended up ordering another one, a longer one, to attach to it because this alone is not long enough to thread all the way to the outside of the car. So I've got that extra one there. The I guess duct that you attach to the front, which I don't even know if I'll be needing this. I'll see, but we have that. This is the inlet pipe, the muffler right here, the AC adapter, which I probably will not be needing because I'm just going to wire this directly to my battery. And we have the intake air filter right here with a bunch of hose clamps. So that is what we're working with. But before we can get to installing it, I'm going to have to do a bit of cutting and trimming on this bench. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I've taken the cushions off the bench, and my plan is, if I take this ratchet set out of here, my plan is to have it installed right here underneath, sort of near my battery charger, but not touching it, of course. I initially wanted to try and put it on this side, which is where my battery is, but I don't want to have it right next to the battery, and it would also be very, very tight, and it would make it a lot harder for me to use my battery charger because I would have to put the charger on in the other compartment. So I scratched that idea, and I decided to have it be here instead. But the only issue is that this drawer, if you can see that, it has this sort of lip that comes down, this piece of wood, and it actually makes it so that I can't close this drawer on the heater because this piece of wood will hit the top of it. So I'm going to have to do some trimming on this panel here and probably cut most of this out. I don't think that will affect anything structurally, and I'm not going to cut all the way to the end either, so I'm thinking of just sort of cutting out like a space right here, and that should give me just enough room to fit it in. And then of course I'll have to drill 2 holes right here in the floor, one for the intake and one for the exhaust, and then thread them out this way towards the outside. So that is my plan. I'm going to go ahead and try and trim this. I don't know if I can take this drawer out while I do that. That'd be really nice, but if not, I'll just work with it in here. Well, I haven't found a convenient way to take out that drawer, so I think I'll be able to just work with it in the spot that it's in. And I've got just this electric saw right here that I'm gonna try and use and see if that works, and we'll see what happens. Okay, y'all, so after some drilling and sawing, I've gotten that wood panel off and freed up about, I guess, 2.5 inches of space. So let's go put this heater in here and see if it fits. I'm planning on having it about roughly here, so let's try. All right, so it looks like it fits all good now, which is excellent. So now we can actually start drilling the holes, 2 holes through the floor there, and we'll make sure that we don't hit anything important underneath the car. And then we'll also make 1 hole in the side right here for the outlet. So I'll just do that with, I've got like a hole saw set that I'll attach to my drill, and see how that goes. Okay, just got the holes drilled through. As you can see, didn't hit anything important, and I'm gonna do my best to thread the intake and exhaust straight out the side. So we will go ahead and hook up, already fitting the intake on here. This is in fact the intake. The pipe closest to the fuel line is the intake, and then this one right here will be the exhaust. So we'll clamp those on and thread it through, and we'll put the muffler on as well when we're done. Just put the intake and the exhaust pipes on the heater. And one thing that I forgot to mention is that I bought this is like a soft, it's like a titanium heat shield sleeve that I got on Amazon that I just threaded over the exhaust pipe for some extra protection, just because it goes through like the wood there. And then it also, I'm probably going to have the exhaust routed near the fuel tank. So this just helps with heat dissipation and some extra safety. And because I used this longer exhaust pipe for the exhaust outlet, I'm actually going to repurpose the exhaust that came with the kit as just an extension for the intake. So I'll have the intake pipe here on the end, and then just the exhaust there to give me a bit of extra length. So we'll go ahead and I've already got that one down through the hole, but we'll get this one down there as well. And then we'll put the muffler on the outside, and then we'll wire this thing up. And moving underneath the car, you can see that I've got the exhaust coming sort of this way. And so, yeah, I wanted to have it kind of like right there, and then it will come just right out there by the side where the wheel is. And that's where I'll bolt the muffler as well. So make sure to have that real tight up against that metal piece there. And then the intake is down there, facing forward, and I'll have this extension on there as well to keep it a little close to the outside, like so. So we'll get this muffler on, and then we'll clamp everything and get it all bolted up and secure. All right, check it out. So here's my intake right here. So as I said earlier, I used that metal exhaust pipe as my intake, and then I used the intake that came with the kit as the extension. And I just have the filter with the hose kind of clamped right up here to this like fiberglass storage compartment. So, and I've got it pointed towards the outside and away from the exhaust. And then over here on the other side, I've got the exhaust with this little clamp that came with the kit. I've got it also bolted right there up top. And then I have the muffler right here as well. And I'll come on the other side where you can see how I have it mounted. So I just have that, it will focus, yep, bolted into the side right here. So that's very secure. So one bolt right here, and then the other bolt right here, holding the muffler. And then I have the hose clamped to it right there. So this will be the setup, and let me know if you guys see any problems with this or any hazards, because this is my first time doing this and I'm not sure if I did everything right. I feel like I did, but please let me know. And next step will be to just wire it up. Let's do that now. So we are given these two wires here, positive and negative, that clamp onto the heater and then onto the terminals of the battery. So on the heater itself, it has these two little knobs that twist off, and then you slide the wires on and twist them to tighten. And then on my battery, I would just thread, I have a little hole kind of in the corner there that you can't really see, but I'll thread the other ends of the wires through there, come back up, and then onto each terminal. Okay, everything's all connected now, positive and negative right there. And I've got fuel in the tank as well, but before we turn it on, I wanted to, I forgot, I made one more hole right here for the outlet, which I forgot to mention earlier. And now I'm just going to, use this a little bit. I'm going to have to trim it because I don't want it sticking out this far. So I'm going to trim that, put it onto the outlet, and then we'll use this little vent, put it on the end so that we can adjust the direction of the heat. So we'll trim this down, probably only need like 2 or 3 inches of it. And then we'll put this guy on the end of it, and then we'll turn it on. Okay, all finished. So yeah, I just took like maybe 3 inches of that duct, and I've got it, as you can see, just right there. So one clamp there on the heater itself, and then I have another clamp that you can't quite see, but it keeps this vent onto the hose as well. So I believe we are pretty much done. So let's go ahead and turn this on and see what happens. Okay, we have this interesting little screen. But yeah, I'm just going to mess around with this a little bit, and I'll get back to you guys when it's heating up. So it looks like we're in business. It is pretty hot coming out of here. And if we come outside, show you the exhaust. There's a little bit of exhaust smoke coming out, as you can see. And let's see. Yeah, it's getting hot, but nothing crazy yet. Intake is right there. But everything seems to be working so far. The temperature of the van has already gone up about 4 degrees. If you remember, it said 48 when I first, right before I turned it on, and now my little display has fallen. I'm not going to be using this because I found out that I actually can't detach it. It's wired, so I'm going to be using the app that came with my phone instead. But just while I have this drawer open, we can see that we're already at 55 degrees, and it's only been about 5 minutes that I've had this thing on. So 7 degrees in 5 minutes is pretty good, and it's not even, as you can see, it's only at level 4 out of 10. So this is pretty awesome. I'm excited to use this thing, and I think this will be a very efficient, easy way to keep the van warm. Now, if you notice, there's a ticking sound, which is coming from the fuel pump, and I've read that this is a common sound on a lot of these. I've read that it goes away. I've read that it doesn't in other places, but that was another reason why I wanted to have this under the bench, because once I have this closed and I have the cushion on top, you can barely hear it at all. So that will be very nice. So I think that'll do it for this one. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm really glad to have this heater installed now, so I don't have to worry about getting too cold anywhere I go. And it's just a nice peace of mind item to have, and it doesn't really use that much power at all. Even just the electricity for the fuel pump only is running about 1 to 2 amps, which is a lot better than some of those like 1500-watt electric heaters. So this will be very nice, and I'm excited to see how much fuel it uses over the course of like a few days of running it, maybe for a couple hours each day. So we'll be sure to track that. But next video, I believe, will be replacing the stove. I want to replace the propane stove because it's having a couple problems, and eventually I want to do the sink as well. So see y'all in the next video for that. Stay tuned. Catch you guys next time.